Hey, hope everyone had an awesome 4th of July, guys. Yeah. Hey, I am like totally changing my channel here. I'm hoping that it is a ministry to people, that it ministers to the heart. So hang out with me. I'm just kind of like eating my strawberries right now, and I hate the stems. Like I just like don't even like to eat around them. I'm kind of being wasteful. Anyways, yeah, so what I'm hoping to do is turn this channel into a whole new direction where it's more of a channel for women to talk to one another, to have an open forum. Hold on, that's my phone. Hold on. To kind of have an open forum to come and drop in on my channel, talk about the latest things going on, and trying to grow together and deal with some things, issues for women mostly. If you're a man, which I've seen in the comments, this really isn't for you. No offense, if men want to say some things, they can, because it is YouTube and it's a free country, but this is more for women. So I'm like having a really busy day, but that's okay. I will sit down and still make time to make these videos and talk with people. I do just totally have a busy schedule, so I haven't put a lot of time into this. But I heard an awesome sermon. Well, I heard a couple yesterday, and one was about how Jesus came down from the mountain. And when we think about this, not just physically, he came down to do the sermon, like the Sermon on the Mountain stuff to help people, but he did make himself available to people. People had access to him. This is God. This is amazing to think, if anyone should have been a snob of sorts, it would have been Jesus. But instead, he lays down his life for us. And the more we're accessible to people, the more we can help people. So I'm hoping to bring this down to a real down to earth level. And I know a lot of business people just kind of, have like a business mentality toward their YouTube channel. But I kind of want to just bring it to something that's real, authentic, and down to earth for women to speak about things. And Jesus didn't come just to condemn people. I mean, he came not to condemn, but to save. So, as we talk about abortion and minimalist living and woman stuff, I'd like to bring this in a way that shows truth and grace, and just try to get this at someone's level better. So I did hit really hard with the Paxton Smith story, and that's because we are to rebuke the fruits of darkness and evil. This is being promoted quite a bit in our world right now. The timing is amazing to me. Time of all the healing I went through, all the stuff I went through, and how I want to use it to help other people. And if there was ever a time, it's now that people do need to understand biblical truth and understand God's love and truth, and they're on their way to hell if they're not getting, if they don't have the gospel. Because we're seeing the wickedness increase. We're seeing abortion being spread all over the world. And a lot of people don't know this. They don't know the truth. Like I said, I've stood at an abortion mill for about, I don't know, 3 hours in the morning at a time, every, weekly for a little bit of time. And we saw about an average of 7 abortions a morning, 6 or 7. And that is a lot. That is so much. And then another abortion clinic, it's like daily, every single day, early in the morning till at night, sometimes past 5, I think it was. So it is increasing. And many people will say, abortion has decreased, but no, it's increasing from just watching all this happen. So, I had somebody else I talked with yesterday, private conversation here, but basically, she saw a man who wanted this guy was crying who wanted his baby, not in the context of the sidewalk, but in a different context. And the girl had already made up her mind, his girlfriend, that this baby wasn't going to happen. So he was devastated. He wanted a family, and it affects men very, very much. Maybe down the road I'll do some stuff for men, but for now I'm just thinking of the woman, because it's usually the woman who are making the decisions, because Planned Parenthood and the laws are covering their rights and not the men's rights. And if you think about it, it's a baby. It's not just about a woman's body, it's a baby's body, it's a man's child, so it has something to do with his body indirectly. And there's a bunch of bodies. I mean, it's not just one person dealing with this. So another sermon I heard that was awesome yesterday was about giving all of ourselves to Christ, not just parts, but all of ourselves, and then pouring ourselves out for others. As we do this, this is how we have life. It's not just, I mean, yes, we are saved by the cross. We're saved, God. And I'd like to hear the gospel more in churches. I do hear certain terms, but I'd like to hear the actual gospel more, that Christ died for our sin. We have total human depravity. There's nothing we can do to save ourselves. But we are valuable. I mean, it's not like we have to walk around saying, oh, I'm nothing but a wretched, no good sinner. We have value also in God's eyes. He created us to be with him in eternity, and we are very valuable, highly valuable to him. And undeserved grace. So, the gospel that Christ died for our sin on a cross, and rose again in 3 days. And, I'd like to hear that more in the churches. But what I did hear is that, our life is not just, okay, we got it, we got the deposit, and now let's live however we want. It really is about, constantly depending on God for things and living the life that is dependent upon God, and pouring our life out for others. So this is really like opposite to worldly thinking, where we tend to think, okay, we're going to put ourselves first, we're going to be number one. And it really takes like a denying yourself every single day to be like, okay, what should I be doing? And, God's not like a killjoy where it's like, oh, you can't have any fun. I mean, we've heard of churches saying, rock and roll is sinful, and, being really judgmental about people's clothing and their whatever they do. I mean, it's almost like you can't do anything without calling it sin. And we don't want to do that. Jesus does know the heart. And I think Jesus had an awesome sense of humor. I think he was hilarious from what I understand in my Bible. And he really, told things the way it was, but he did it in a way people could understand. And so we just want to, realize we have freedom in Christ. There's a lot of debatable things. We're not like in bondage. We're actually, should be not in a negative mindset that like everything is wrong, but be positive and look for opportunities and challenges in life to, to live life and enjoy life and have fun. I mean, God came to give us life and to give us a full life, and we should be enjoying life. So, leave comments below, subjects you want me to talk about. I'm thinking about talking about some just like awful, maybe dating advice I could give to people, like what to avoid, boyfriends to avoid, just certain things that I went through. So I'll probably do that next, but leave some comments below and we'll just talk things out. And I always thought if I started a nonprofit or something, it probably would be called Let's Talk, because communication is key to relationships. And when you don't have that, excuse me, the communication, everything else goes down. So yeah, let's talk. Leave comments below. Anything you want to see next. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.